This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. I, of course, am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 7 in the National Football League. Carolina Panthers on the road in Green Bay, taking on the Go, Pat, go! Go, Pack, go! The Green Bay Packers playing some red-hot football ever since A-Rod told them to relax. These boys have been playing some outstanding football. Now the Carolina Panthers, who I said are going through their murderer's row part of their schedule, looking to find a way to survive in week number 7 versus the Green Bay Packers. Last week, hey, they didn't win, but they didn't lose either on the road against Cincinnati. They're looking to make it 2 weeks in a row on the road, being able to play competitive football. And I knew it was going to be tough. Did I expect it to get out of hand like this? Probably not. But I didn't expect them to win. Let's talk about this game very quickly. And then I want to talk about these teams individually. So I'm going to run through this review because there's not a lot here. The Packers made quick work of this Panthers team. So it's not a lot here to discuss. Packers said, hey, not a lot here, man. No need to stay. Keep on moving on. There's not a lot to see here. Keep it moving. So I'm going to do exactly that. After a sack makes it 3rd and 12, 2 Carolina Panthers penalties back to back. It makes it 3rd and 2. A-Rod scrambles for a first down. Then the next play, he hits Air Jordy. Air Jordy for a 59-yard touchdown, one of the most underrated receivers in the entire National Football League. That man, Air Jordy, Jordy Nelson, gets in the end zone. Seems like he does this at least once a week, where he just busts off a big one, gets in the end zone at 7-0. Packers out on top. A-Rod had a pick negated by a Luke Kuechly offsides penalty. So Panthers looking to make a play early on. Kuechly has it negated with an offsides penalty. He didn't do many things wrong, but he did something wrong there, and it was huge because the Packers made them pay with a touchdown after that penalty. So it's 7-0 Pack early in the game. Packs make it look easy as A-Rod hooks up with Air Jordy again, and then Randall Cobb gets him down to about the 6-yard line where Eddie Lacy does the rest. It's now 14-0 Pack on top in this game. And so you can see where this one was going. It was going downhill fast. If you're the Panthers, you need to get something offensively and maybe keep this thing respectable and let the Green Bay Packers know that, hey, we're in this game. We're going to be around. Couldn't do it as A-Rod starts the game 9 of 10. I mean, the dude was razor sharp. And this is the difference between last year and this year with this Panthers team, is the fact that this is a Panthers team that no longer can stop you and stymie you and stifle you defensively. They rely on their offense to keep them in ball games. Much like last week, the offense was able to put up 30-some-odd points and give them a chance in Cincinnati. That wasn't the case this week. And this defense isn't any good. It's just not the same as it was last year. And for this Panthers team, again, this is not a very talented football team. For them to be where they were a season ago, they're going to need the defense to step up. And that's not going to happen. Greg Hardy isn't coming back. You've got guys on this team that can't perform at that level like they did a season ago, or they're not even around anymore. So this is a different team. The biggest difference, because a lot of the parts remain the same. The biggest difference is the fact that you're not getting pressure on the quarterback like you did last season. This was a team that was up in the top 3, right around number 1 or number 2 in sacks on the season. If I'm not mistaken, this was the team that led the league in sacks last year with about 60. And this season, totally different script. They're not getting to the quarterback. And so that's the big difference between last year's team and this year's team. You're not getting pressure on the quarterback. And if you can't get to the quarterback, your secondary was never good. It wasn't good last year. It's definitely not better this season. So that's the biggest problem in Carolina, is the fact that you don't have the pass rush to match the rest of the defense. And it used to be, well, our front 7 is dominant. Hey, the back 4, hey, whatever. We'll get it done up front with the front 7 and make sure that those guys don't have a lot of pressure applied to them. That's not the case this year. Now the front four isn't hitting home. And so now the pressure is being applied to that back four, and they can't hold up. Even though they're picking off passes and this, that, and the third, hey, the teams are trying them in the secondary because there's no reason to have to run, even though you can run on this Panthers defense. You don't need to run when you can throw the football on these guys. You'll get enough time to scan the field and make some plays. And the more that teams throw on you, yeah, you're going to get your fair share of breaks and make a couple of plays and pick a pass off here and there. But these guys aren't making plays. When they pick passes off, normally it's overthrows and they're just in the right spot and they pick it off. But Aaron Rodgers started this game off 9-10. You add in a personal foul penalty and a James Starks 13-yard touchdown ensues. It's now 21-0 in this game. Randall Cobb busts loose for a huge gain, then finishes off the drive with the touchdown grab. It's 28-0. At this point, I stopped taking notes for good reason. This game was over. Packers dominated this game. They even dominated so much so they let A-Rod take the fourth quarter off in this game. The score ended up being 38-17. Packers cruised to an easy victory in this game. Panthers never stood a chance. And it's a shame that somebody is going to be able to call themselves an NFC South champion this year. Nobody deserves to be a champion in this division. Nobody deserves to even make an appearance in the postseason from this division. I remember going into the season thinking this is going to be one of the best divisions in all of football. This is going to be a power division. And all of a sudden, it's a laughingstock division where you look at all of these teams, none of them except the Carolina Panthers, who, because of a tie, is still at 500 on the season. Everybody else is below 500. The Panthers are going to win this division by de facto default because nobody else wants this division. The Panthers are going to be able to make it to the postseason. It's a shame because this division is a joke. It's a mess right now. The Buccaneers can't find themselves. The Atlanta Falcons, they drove off the cliff. Their offense, I don't know what the hell happened to the offense. We knew the defense was going to be bad. We didn't expect that from the offense, though. They're a mess. You look at the New Orleans Saints, they can't get out of their own way. And the bad part is, even though they've gotten a lot of their road schedule out of the way, they're struggling at home. They're just struggling, period. Okay? I don't even know if this is a dominant home team anymore in New Orleans. So you look around and you say, man, there's nobody left but Carolina. And they're 3-1. I mean, they're going to end up playing a murderer's row schedule when it's all said and done because they won the division last year. And if they play a team that's better than them, last year they could play a team that was on par with them or better than them and beat them. This year they can't do that. They have to beat the teams that are below them in order to bolster their record. The one team they're going to be able to say, hey, we beat them and they're better than them is the Detroit Lions. And again, I'd argue that you caught them early and their field goal kicker couldn't make any field goals at that point. So, man, I'll tell you what, this Panthers team, they got a lot of things to iron out. But again, in that garbage division that you're playing called the NFC South, you may be able to get away with one and sneak in the back door of the postseason. Don't expect a lot, though. Look, it's early. It's only week 7. I talk about the postseason. I'm using the P word an awful lot. I need to stop because it's still early. Things can change. Things can turn around, but it just doesn't look good for that entire division, including this Carolina Panthers team that for about the third time this season was drubbed. I mean, of all the teams in their division, they're the one that's not supposed to get blown out. You lose, you lose. It happens. I mean, you're not going to go 16-0. But to get beat up, this is the third time they have been beat up this season. Twice in a row, once at home by the Steelers. At some point, they need to stand up and say, all right, enough's enough. We can't keep taking ass whoopings like this. We're too good of a football team to do that. I don't know if somebody's going to stand up in that locker room and say, look, man, we got to stop with the nonsense. You know, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, somebody's got to stand up and stand on the table and let these guys know this is not acceptable to come out and get dropped. I don't care who we play. We can be playing the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens. I don't care who we play. 2001 Ravens. It doesn't matter. We can't come out flat like this and get our brains bashed in against anybody. That's the end of the discussion. So they got to fix some things in Carolina. Again, to me, there's not enough talent on this football team for them to make mistakes. they seem to make too many mistakes on a weekly basis, and thus you end up with outcomes like the one we saw on Sunday, 38-17. So now you talk about it from the perspective of the Packers. This is the team that I was expecting to see. I talked about the Green Bay Packers potentially being a team that could get home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the NFC. Look, I'm telling you right now, with the Seahawks struggling away, that's the only team that I think can handle the Green Bay Packers is the Seattle Seahawks because of their defense and the way that, and they need to be at home too. I think everything with the Seahawks is starting to change. And so now the team that I think is starting to become the team in the NFC to watch out for, and I see what the Cowboys are doing. I see what the Eagles are doing. I see what some of these teams atop this conference are doing. Throw Detroit in there as well. But to me, the team that has everything clicking and the defense is starting to play football, they're starting to get pressure on the quarterback, Eddie Lacy and James Stark, that running game starting to come alive. We already know what A-Rod and that crew brings to the table. If they can just get a little something out of this defense, which we're starting to see, and the running game starts to come to life, which we're starting to see, this is a dangerous team that I think, when it's all said and done, could be your number one seed in the NFC. Again, a lot of football left to play. But right now, sitting at 5-2 in the NFC, the Packers are under the radar. Nobody's talking Green Bay Packers football. Everybody's riding the coattails of the Cowboys, and for good reason. They play some good football. Everybody's talking Chip Kelly and the Eagles. Everybody's even whispering the name of the Detroit Lions because they beat this Packers team. But nobody's talking Green Bay Packers. That's fine. The Packers will ride this wave under the radar, and just when you think that, oh, it's the Cowboys, oh, it's the Eagles, oh, it might be the Lions, here comes the Green Bay Packers. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So that's going to do it for the Week 7 breakdown of Packers and Panthers. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 7 in the National Football League. I will see you in a bit. I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 7. See you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.